food, yummy, yummy food. I'm hungry, what shall I eat? Good food, bad food, too much food, diets. There's so much information about food. And as an exercise professional, as a human being, as somebody who wants people to be healthy, fit and strong, what advice should we be giving about food? And here's a really interesting question. Is it possible that everybody has an opinion about food, or everybody has food that they like or don't like? Everybody has a lifestyle that's already determining when they eat, how much they eat, what they like to eat, what they don't like to eat. So if I come into somebody's life and start telling them don't have, can't have, mustn't have, you shouldn't, this is a good food, this is a bad food, am I setting myself up for an argument, for some kind of aggressive, defensive behaviour, maybe a waste of time? Would it be a really good idea to find out what people are doing at the moment, why they're doing it at the moment, and do they actually want to make a change with their eating habits? It seems that the world is full of people who want to tell you what they eat and why they eat it, and how much they eat and when they eat and why it's important to eat like they do. I'll be very personal. I find that really offensive. I've worked with people who love tomatoes, other people who hate tomatoes, people who drink alcohol, and people that would never drink alcohol, people that love to have a steak, people that would never eat a cow, people who eat chocolate, people that would never put chocolate in their mouth. Are they good or bad people? Are they right or wrong? Or they just have an opinion or a taste or a culture or something that's important to them? Why would I think that I could go into their life and tell them what to do? So rather than this is what I do and you should do it too, which seems to be what food is all about, particularly with the social media influencing that we've got going on. These are my ripped abdominals, this is my tight butt, this is my amazing thing that I do with my life, and don't I look fantastic, you should do what I do. Without taking into consideration, they don't take into consideration, but should you take into consideration how old they are, what gender they are, what their lifestyle is, what are their genetics? I'm very privileged. I had parents that just, they aged beautifully. My mother had hardly any wrinkles till the day she died at 98. My father was strong. There's a whole heap of things that I'm grateful for my genetics. I'm grateful for them, but I can't change them. There's some things about my genetics I'd love to be able to change. Would I like to be taller? Would I like to have less broad shoulders? Would I like to have... There's a whole heap of things we'd love to change, but there's some things we can't change. So why would I think that because a certain person looks a certain way that I can look that way too? To me, that seems a little bit silly. It's a great question that I always ask. If you think that your eating plan and your exercise plan is the very best thing on the planet, if we took 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, and we fed them exactly the same way with the same calories at the same time with the same food, after a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year, would they still all look the same? It's a really important question. And even if that was the perfect way to eat, what if people don't like tomatoes? What if they don't like beans? What if they don't like to eat meat? You have to be a carnivore. There are cardiologists that tell their clients you have to be a carnivore. But what if it's you don't eat meat for cultural reasons, or the simple thing that I live in the South Island of New Zealand, some people don't eat cows and sheep down here because they love them, they have them as pets and they would never eat them. So this is my begging position. You can probably hear in my voice, I get a little bit fascinated. I used to get frustrated, now I just find it fascinating that anybody would come into your life and tell you what to eat, what you can eat, what you can't eat, what's good for you, what's bad for you. There are, and I always share this story, there are good and bad foods. Really? If you eat too much of anything, carbohydrate, protein, fat, drink too much alcohol, in some way, shape or form it'll end up in your fat cell if you eat too much of it, which means you'll be chubby or you'll be fat or you'll be overweight or you'll be obese. That's just how physiology works. There are foods that you eat that people say, oh, that's a really good food. The joke that I always share, but it wasn't a joke, a guy actually did it. One of the students at my college ate 3 kilograms of broccoli in one time. Now, if you compare, you need to eat green leafy vegetables, but if you eat 3 kilograms of green leafy vegetables, according to him, I've never done it, but according to him, he was bloated, he had a very sore tummy, he passed very stinky wind for many, many days, and of course he would never do that again, because green leafy vegetables need to be eaten in moderation. If you drink too much alcohol, you get drunk. If you eat too much sugar or chocolate, you feel sick. If you have a really lovely, yummy meal and you feel fantastic after you ate it, if you had that same meal again, you'd probably feel sick after you ate it. So here's my begging position as an exercise professional, as a coach, as a parent or a teacher or a leader, or just somebody who cares about people and you want them to be healthy. Could it be a really good idea to ask more questions than telling people what to do? Why do you eat that way? Why is it important to you? Why have you chosen to eat that amount of food? Get into people's headspace and find out about them rather than just tell them what to do. And for somebody who's most of my career path as a personal results coach, I worked with people who had challenges with food, eating disorders commonly known as, but I don't like to call it that. It was just that there was a reason that they didn't have a good relationship with food. They either didn't want to eat at all, anorexia, that's a label. They ate everything they could possibly find and then they would throw it up or take laxatives to poo it out. That's called bulimia. Some people would eat ridiculously amounts of food and then exercise for hours and hours to try and get rid of it. That's exercise bulimia. And then, of course, if food is controlling your life and you have no control anymore, anorexics want to control everything. Somebody that's morbidly obese just wants to eat everything. The headspace is the same. Food is controlling my life. And I don't want that for anybody. I would love people to enjoy their food, love their food, have a wow experience from their food, not be controlled by their food. So if you think that that's important, if you would like to have a great relationship with food, eat when you're hungry, stop eating when you're full, eat all the foods that you love, don't waste calories on the food that you don't like, could it be a really good idea to learn your anatomy and physiology? How does food work inside my body? How does the digestive system work with the endocrine system and the central nervous system, the skeletal and muscular, cardiovascular, respiratory system and the immune system to turn me into a fit, strong, healthy human being that can burn up everything that I put into my body? And that's my goal for everybody. Eat whatever you bloody well want and have a body that burns it up. And that comes from being fit and that comes from being strong. So that's my very personal request. Please don't tell people what to eat. Some people like me will find it offensive. I'm an old lady. I eat the way I do for a reason, and I've been eating this way for a really long time. And people come into my life. I like being in my kitchen because this is where the food is. But I like being in my kitchen by myself because people come into my kitchen and very judgy. Rowy's got chocolate, Rowy's got chips, Rowy's got ice cream, Rowy's got biscuits. How can you call yourself a healthy, fit, strong human being when you've got that kind of food in your kitchen? Well, take judgy out of my kitchen because it's my kitchen. And wouldn't you like to be able to eat what you love and be healthy, fit and strong? And I'm just so privileged because I understand that the human body, when it's healthy, fit and strong, will burn up everything that I put into it. I eat whatever I want to, and it's a beautiful headspace to be in. It's fun coming to the kitchen. It's fun going out for dinner. It's fun living because you can eat whatever you want to. And that doesn't fall out of the sky in a pretty pink box. You just got to get really fit and really strong. So if you want to live your life to the max, and I'll share it again, eat what you want. Don't eat the foods that you don't like. Eat when you're hungry. If you've got a healthy hormonal system, you'll stop eating when you're full so you can't overeat. And you'll just love every food experience. So love your life, live your life to the max, and love your food. Super duper doo, how are you? I love my food and everything I put in my fridge. What else would I have in there except all the foods that I love? Woohoo!